welcome to Mrinal's Math Tutorials, and in today's tutorial we are going to look at the latest paper, which is February-March 2025, paper 2, Cambridge IGCSE 0580. Now this one is extended non-calculator paper, and we're going to solve a few questions from here, and hopefully I'll be able to revise some important concepts. So on page 2, you can see a list of formulae. You can use the formulas if a question requires for you to use a formula. For example, the sine rule, cosine rule, all those are given. But there are several other formulas that you will need to memorize, which are not given in here. So make sure that you memorize them. I will highlight as I solve the ones which you need to memorize. So let us begin. The first question: oranges cost 220 rupees per kilogram. Work out the cost of 9 kilograms of these oranges. So this is a non-calculator paper, remember. So now we need to work out what is the cost of 9 kilograms of these oranges. So it's going to be 9 times 220. So 220 times 9, that is going to give you 1980 rupees. You can work it out. Traditional multiplication should work absolutely fine. 9 times 0 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 2 is 18, plus 1 gives you 1980. Aryan goes on a journey. He leaves the home at 11:40 and he arrives at 14:18. So how many hours and minutes the journey took? So now you can work it out mentally, or you may want to write it down in this way. You have 20 minutes from 11:40 to 12 o'clock, 12 noon, and then up to 1400 it will be 2 hours, and from 1400 to 1418 it would be another 18 minutes, right? So this is definitely going to be 20 plus 18, which is 38 minutes, 2 hours and 38 minutes. Pretty easy. Question number 3. A quadrilateral has one line of symmetry. The diagonals of the quadrilateral cross at right angles. So you need to write down what is the name of this quadrilateral. So which are the quadrilaterals which have the diagonals crossing at right angles? If you have given a thought, what is the correct answer? The correct answer would be, it is a kite. Because the diagonals of a kite will always cross each other at right angle. I'll just take a moment to explain the other properties of kite, which are also equally important. The diagonals, we know they intersect at right angles. These two adjacent sides are equal. So the correct answer over here is a kite. Right. Question number 4. So we have been given V is equal to 4mp square. We need to find V when m is 10 and p is equal to -3. So let's substitute V equal to 4 times 10 times a -3 bracket square. Remember that you need to write a bracket for the negative, and also you need to write the substitution, because if you notice that the question is worth 2 marks. So if you don't write the substitution, you may not get the full marks, yeah? Or you may not get any marks. So this works out to be, the method marks are required for you to get the correct answer. So that's going to be 40 times 9, because -3 square is 9. So that gives me 360. Need to write your answer on the answer line. Yeah. Find the positive value of P when V is equal to 3200 and M is equal to 2. So in the above formula, which is V equal to 4mp square, we know that V is 3200 or 3200. 4 times 2 times p square. 4 times 2 is 8, so we can then divide this by 8. So what do we get? It gives you p square. 3200 divided by 8 is going to be equal to 400. So p square is 400. That means the value of p would be square root of 400. That is equal to plus or minus 20. Over here I'm just writing plus 20. This is plus or minus 20. And they should have mentioned, which they did, that p is a positive value. So you're going to just choose the positive. Yeah. Write down these lengths in the order starting with the smallest. So we have meter, centimeter, millimeter and kilometer. It's a good idea to convert all of these into one single unit. It could be either into centimeters or meters or kilometers, whatever you like. I would convert them into centimeters because it's just easy. So we know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters and 10 millimeter is 1 centimeter. So if I have to convert 0.03 meters to centimeters, it is going to be, apologies, this should have been 100 centimeters. Multiply it by 100. So 0.03 multiplied by 100, that gives me 3 centimeters. This is already 2.9 centimeters. So we need to convert the millimeter to centimeters. So you divide by 10. So that gives me 3.2 centimeters. And to convert the kilometers to centimeters, we know that kilometer to meter is 1000, and then kilometers to centimeter would be, you multiply again another 100, so that is going to be 100,000 then. Yeah, so 100,000 centimeters. So multiply it by 100,000. So you're having how many digits after decimal? So this is going to be 3, 4, 5. So you cross off 5 zeros. 3, 4, 5. So that's just going to be 2 centimeters. Now it's very easy for you to order. So the first one is going to be 2 centimeters, which is nothing but 0.00002 kilometers. Must write the units. Next is 2.9 centimeters. Then we have 0.03 meters. And lastly, we have 32 millimeters. Right? Let's look at the next one. We need to work out the area of this trapezium. Now, if you look at your formula sheet, I will scroll down up to the second page. Do we have the formula for area of trapezium? Let's look at it. So, we have area of triangle, circle, but we do not have area of trapezium. Yeah? So, either you memorize the area of trapezium formula, or you divide this into triangle and a rectangle. I would recommend to just memorize the area of trapezium. So, the area of trapezium is given as area is equal to half a plus b times h. Or you may also want to write it as a plus b times h divided by 2. So, what is A and B? A and B are these two parallel sides. Yeah? And the height is this perpendicular distance which connects the two parallel sides. So, A and B is 15 and 9 respectively, and the height is 8 centimeters. So, let us substitute. So, we're going to have 15 plus 9 times 8 divided by 2. 15 plus 9 gives you 24. So this is 24 times 8 divided by 2. Half of 24 is 12. 12 times 8 gives us 96. Right? So 96 centimeters square. Question 7, we need to work out or write down the inequality which is represented over here. So let's revise a little bit about inequalities. When we have an open circle, the inequality is strict, that is without an equal to sign. When you have a filled in solid circle like this, then the inequality comes with an equal to sign. So here this is from -3 to +4, and we're going to put a equal to sign for the +4 because this circle is filled in, and we are talking about the variable x, which is mentioned over here. So that's going to be x in between. Right? That's about it for question 7. Question 8, Priyanka, I think it should have been Priyanka, the I is missing. Priyanka plays a game in which she can win, lose or draw. The table shows the probability of her winning or losing the game. The probability of winning the game is 0.3, for losing is 0.25, and we need to work out how much is it for draw. You see that it is worth 2 marks. It means that you need to show your working. Yeah. So what is the working required over here? The working required over here would be, you know that all probabilities add up to 1. So you can just say 0.3 plus 0.25 plus, let's assume for draw it's x, is equal to 1. And now we work out how much is x. So obviously x is going to be 1 minus sum of these. It's not necessary to write what is 1 minus sum of these. You can do it mentally, or if you would like to write it down, you can write it down. So 0.3 plus 0.25, that works out to be 0.55. So 1 minus 0.55 is going to be 0.45. So that gives you 0.45. So fill it up in the table. So you would get 1 method mark over here and the final mark over here. Remember, without method mark, you cannot get the accuracy mark. Yeah. Priyanka plays this game 120 times. Work out the expected number of games she wins. We know the probability of winning is 0.3. So she's playing the game for 120 times. So you multiply 0.3 with 120. That works out to be 120 times 0.3 gives us 36. Yeah. Now, question number 9. By writing each number correct to one significant figure, we need to work out the estimate for D. So you need to round each of these to one significant figure. Right. 1.95 would be rounded off to 2. 9.9 would be rounded off to 10. Come on. Now you got to remember that 10 is 2-digit, but it is only one significant because the zeros do not matter. Yeah, the trailing zeros do not matter, so it's still one significant. And 8.07 will be rounded off to 8. So that gives us 200 divided by 8. 200 divided by 8 gives me 25. So D is square root of 25, which is 5. Remember, this is a non-calculator paper. Yeah. Therefore, the calculations would be accurate. So if you did something wrong in here, you will quickly know that you will not be able to take the square root. And it's an estimate because you're rounding it to correct one significant figure. 3 regular polygons A, B, C, they meet at a point and the interior angles are in the ratio ABC is given as in the ratio 3:4:5, we need to show that the polygon C has twice the number of sides as polygon B. Alright, so let's work out what are these A, B and C. We know that all these three are meeting at a point. So they all add up to 360. So this gives me 3x plus 4x plus 5x is equal to 360 degrees. I've just taken an x to represent the ratio there. So 3 plus 4 plus 5 gives me 12x. Dividing by 12 gives me 360 divided by 12 is equal to 30. So x is 30 degrees. That means A is going to be 3 times 30, which is 90 degrees. B is going to be 4 times 30, 120 degrees. And C is going to be 5 times 30, that is 150 degrees. Now we need to prove that the polygon C has, which is this one, has twice the number of sides as polygon B. So we need to prove that the number of sides, okay, that's a trick question. You got the angles there, we need to find the sides. So what kind of angles are these? Of course, these are interior angles. The easiest way to work out the sides would be then to calculate the exterior angles. Yeah. So the exterior angle formula is, exterior angle is 360 divided by the number of sides. Mind you, this is not given in the formula sheet, so you got to memorize this. Yeah. So let's calculate the exterior angle for B is going to be, so we have the interior angle, so we also need another formula for exterior plus interior is 180 degrees. Yeah, so got to remember that. We need to now then calculate what is the interior angle for B. So I'm just going to write here interior angle for B is going to be 180 minus 120, that is 60 degrees. Therefore, the number of sides would be 360 divided by 60. I have used this formula. I know now the exterior angle is 60. So I can just rewrite that n will be equal to 360 divided by the exterior angle. So it's going to be 360 divided by the exterior angle, which is 60. You can interchange these, yeah? You can interchange these because if you cross multiply, you're going to get the same. So that's going to be 360 divided by 60, which is 6. Likewise, calculate the interior angle for C. The interior angle for C is going to be 180 minus 150, that is 30 degrees. So the number of sides would be 360 divided by 30, which should be 12. So we can see that we have proved that the polygon C has twice number of sides as polygon B. So we can see over here 12 is 2 times 6. Yeah. So if you have just proved that the sides are these, you should get the correct answer. Here you must write a conclusion. 12 is twice 6. So polygon C has twice the number of sides as polygon B. You need to write the conclusion. Without the conclusion, you may not get full marks. Yeah, this conclusion itself carries 1 mark. Yeah. I'll just write it. Sides as B. Okay, the conclusion itself is 1 mark, so I'm going to write here, important to write conclusion. Yeah. What do we have next? A company sells items either on websites or in shops. The composite bar chart shows the percentage of sales on the website and in shops for January, February and March. We can see that. So the one which is white, that is sales in shops, and the shaded one is sales on the website. In April, 17 out of 20 of the company's sales were on websites, and on the grid we need to draw this for April. So 17 out of 20. All right, so if you look on the y-axis, this is percentage of sales, yeah, and this is the month. So 17 out of 20 is how much in percentage? You need to calculate that, yeah. So 17 out of 20 times 100. So we know that we can just cross this out. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 17 times 5, that works out to be 85%. So we need to just draw the graph at 85%. So need a ruler. Must use a ruler. Without a ruler you may not get full marks. So 84, 85 would be halfway here. I believe that's correct. Well, I'm working on iPad, so it's kind of easy for me to draw, but you will have to use ruler like that, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so that is 85%. We have got that. In February, the company has sales of 3.5 million. Work out the value of sales in the shops in Feb. Okay, so we have a sale of 3.5 millions. Yeah, so we know that the sale is 3.5 million. Work out the sales value of sales in shops in February. So shops is this part, which is kind of empty. So what percentage is that? We know that 60% is the sale on website, and from 60 to 100, that means 40% is going to be your sales in shops. So 40% of 3.5 million is what you need to work out. So 40% of 3.5 million. Yeah, no need to convert the million because you need to give the answer in millions. So let's work out this. So 40 over 100 times 3.5. This works out to be, let's multiply 40 by 3.5 or 4 by 3.5. That gives me 140. Yeah, you can just do it here. So 35 times 4 gives you 20, 12, and then plus 2 is 14. So that is going to be 140. Yeah, the decimal goes away when you multiply by the 10 over here. So 140 divided by 100, that gives me 1.4 million. Yeah. Part C. In May, the company had a sales of 9 million. Apologies. The company had sales of 6 million. And in June, the company had sales of 7.5 million. Find the percentage increase in sales from May to June. All right. So percentage increase or decrease profit loss is the same formula. So percentage increase is going to be change over the original times the 100. Now the change is without a negative sign. Remember that change cannot be positive or negative. So it's going to be 7.5 minus 6. That's the change. And divided by the original. So the original is going to be May, because after May you have June. So that's going to be 6 then. Divide by 6 times 100. So this works out to be 7.5 minus 6 is 1.5. 1.5 times 100 divided by 6. We know that this is going to be equal to 150 divided by 6. If you don't know your times table, you can keep dividing by 2. If you divide by 2, that's going to give you half of 150 is 75 divided by 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 75 divided by 3 should be equal to 25. So that's 25%. Yeah. In 2024, the company had a total sales of 52 million. This was an increase of 30% on the total sales for 2023. Work out the total sales in 2023. So this is a reverse percentage. Yeah, you have been given 2024 sales value, which is 52, and they say that this is an increase of 30%. Whenever you see an increase, you got to add 100 to this, so that is 130%. Yeah. And whenever we are dividing, whenever we have to find a reverse, you have to divide. Another way of looking at it is 130% is nothing but 52 million. So how much is 100%? You can set up a proportion like this. If you don't understand that, you must divide by the decimal. Yeah. So this is going to be then 130x is equal to 5200, which is x equal to 5200 divided by 130. The 0 cross out. So 52 divided by 13 is 4. So that means 40 million is the correct answer. Yeah. So it's a good idea to set up a proportion. In any case, if you don't set up a proportion, you got to remember when you're going back from 2023 to 2024, it's a reverse percentage. Whenever it's a reverse percentage, you have to divide by the value that's given over here. In this case, it was increase. Yeah. Now we need to write a single fraction in simplest form. Pretty easy. Got to make the denominator same. Yeah, let's copy the question here. Oops, that is minus x plus 2 divided by 12. Okay, it's a good idea to put a bracket here because there are two terms. Otherwise, you will mess up the entire question. Yeah? Okay. The lowest common denominator for 4, 8, and 12 is 24. So make all the denominators 24. So times by 6 up and down, times by 3 up and down, and here you will multiply by 2. Okay, so that works out to be 6x plus 9x, and this 2 you could have written it in the front. So this is like 2 times x, so it's minus 2x, and don't forget the negative here, so it's minus 2 times 2. That gives me minus 4. Now, a common mistake would have been to forget about the negative, and 90% of the students would have written here positive. So if you see two terms here, it's a good idea to put a bracket, otherwise you're going to get this one wrong. Yeah. So let's combine the like terms. That is 6 plus 9 minus 2, which is 13. So this works out to be 13x minus 4 over 24. Yeah, it's kind of a trick question with the negative there. Now we need to factorize. I can see that half of it is already done because I have a factor here in the bracket. So I just need to factorize this. Yeah, so 3x bracket a plus 4y. I will take a negative y common factor because these brackets have to be the same, this one and the one which I'm going to write out here. So this is a minus 4y. It should be plus because minus into plus gives you negative. Yeah, so now the brackets are same, put them in one bracket. These two are the same, so write it in one bracket. And next we have the remainder goes in another bracket, which is 3x minus y. So a plus 4y times 3x minus y, right? Then question number 13. The diagram shows a cylinder with radius r and height 16 centimeters. The sphere has a radius of 3 centimeter and the volume of the cylinder is equal to volume of sphere. So the few key points. You have a cylinder which is shown over here. You also have a sphere which is not shown over here. I may draw it over here. It's a rough sketch. So this one is having a radius of 3 centimeters. That's a sphere. Even if it doesn't look like it, it is a sphere, right? Okay, so we have the radius r, the height is 16 for the cylinder, and the key information given to you is that the volume of the cylinder is equal to volume of sphere. So volume cylinder is equal to volume sphere. So what are the formulas for these? They should be on page 1. Let us see what they are. So we need volume of cylinder and volume of sphere. So volume of sphere, I can see over here, this is 4/3 pi r cube, and volume of cylinder is pi r square h. So let's go back to the question. So volume of cylinder is pi r square h, and this is 4/3 pi r cube. Yeah, so pi times the radius of cylinder we don't know, but we know the height is 16, and for sphere we know that the radius is 3. The pi cancels off from both sides. You can do that, and we are left with, on the left side, 16r square equal to, we can also cancel off one of the 3's, so you're left with now 3 square, 4 times 3 square, that is 9, so 36. 16r square is 36, or r square is 36 divided by 16. So the radius would be square root, of course only positive because radius cannot be negative. Square root of 16 is 4, and square root of 36 is 6. So that's going to be 6/4, or you may want to write it as simplest form, divide by 2, that is 3/2. You must give it as the simplest form, 1.5 or 3/2. Both will be given full marks. Yeah. So 1.5 or 3/2. Question 14. So we have a circle here, and it is given to us that A, B, C, D, E lie on the circle. FG is the tangent to the circle. Angle BAD is 110. Angle ADB, that's 20. And the angle BEC is 45 degrees. Find the angle BCD. So let's identify which angle we need to find. This one, BCD. Right. So when they give you the points lie on the circle, got to remember we can use cyclic quadrilateral, we can also use angles in same segment. So these are the key things that you got to remember. Yeah. So if I'm looking at what I need to calculate, BCD, this is opposite to 110. So opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. So we're just going to use opposite angles add up to 180. So you have 180 minus 110, that is 70 degrees. The geometry. So the geometrical reason over here would be opposite angles of cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. The word cyclic quadrilateral is important. Yeah. So we know now that this is 70 and we need to work out what is DBC. DBC. So let us see what information do we have. I can see that this angle is 45. Angles in the same segment, this angle is also then 45. Yeah, 45 and 45. So we now know that this is 45 degrees. And we are looking at this triangle. So we have 45, 70. So we can easily calculate this one. Angles in a triangle add up to 180. So that is going to be 180 minus 45 plus 70. This works out to be 65 degrees. Yeah. Angle DCG, which is over here, DCG, this one. So we're looking at this triangle. Yeah. This is the angle between the chord and the tangent. So opposite to the chord. So we are interested in this chord in the alternate segment. Opposite to the chord, that's 65. So using alternate segment theorem, this angle is going to be then 65 degrees. There is no working required. It's just 65 degrees. Yeah. Alternate segment theorem. Now we have to find the coordinates point B. Let's read. Point A has coordinates -4 and 1, and BA is a vector with x as -5 and y as -12. We need to find the coordinates of B. So when we are writing the vector BA, basically this is going to be second minus first. So A minus B, so the position vector A, so we write it as OA minus OB. OA, the vector is from the origin, so that's the coordinates, you can use it, -4 and 1, minus the vector OB, which we need to find, let us call it as X and Y, and we know that BA is -5, -12. Okay, rearrange this to calculate X and Y, move it to the other side. This is negative. When it goes to the other side, becomes positive, and this is positive. When it comes to this side, it will become negative. So we can say that then X comma Y is going to be -4 and 1 minus -5 and -12. So add the x's together. -5 minus and minus becomes plus, so -5 plus. So add the x's together. -4 and minus becomes plus, so -4 plus 5, and you have 1 plus 12. So that's going to give you 1 and 13 as the coordinates. Yeah, always remember second minus first. The coordinates of point C are 5, minus 2. We need to find the vector CA. So CA is going to be position vector OA, second, minus the first OC. So OA is negative 4 and 1, and the vector C, OC, would be 5 and negative 2. It's a position vector. That means starts from origin. So that gives you negative 4 minus 5 and 1 plus 2. Negative 9 and 3. It's given to you that EF is 3 times BA. BA is negative 5 and negative 12. It's given to you in the question over here. BA is negative 5 and negative 12. So 3 times that gives you negative 15. And 12 times 3 is negative 36. Now we need to work out this. What is this? This is the magnitude. The magnitude is given as square root x square plus y square. So that's going to be square root negative 15 square plus negative 36 square, which is equal to, you will have to work out, this is a non-calculator paper, so that is 225 plus 36 square. If you are not sure what it is, just multiply onto the side. That is 1296. This all adds up to 225 plus 1296 is 1521. And now you need to think about how to get the value of this. Okay, so let's try and factorize it. 1521. Let us check if it's divisible by 3, because it's ending in 1, so probably yes. So 3 times 5 is 15. We cannot divide by 2, so 0, and then 7, ending in 7, so probably it will be divisible by 3 again. Let's try. 3 times 1 is 3, remainder is 2, 20. So remainder is 2, so we have 20 here. Then 3 times 6 is 18, remainder is 2 again, so 27 you can divide, which will be 9. And I know that for sure this is 169 is 13 square. You got to memorize a few squares, at least up to 12 or 13. So we have 3 times 3 is 9 times 13 square. And we know that square root of 9 is 3, and 13 times 13, so it is 39. Yeah, you will have to do a little bit of factorization. This part is in core maths, but you can see how they're testing it over here as well, prime factorization. Yeah, so that is 39. So the magnitude is 39. Now we have a stem and leaf diagram, which is for showing the masses of each of 13 packets. We need to work out the interquartile range. Now, when you read the key tells you how to actually read the numbers. So 3 and then this line 1 means 31 grams. Now we need to work out the interquartile range. So we need to work out the interquartile range. A good idea for this would be to try and work out what's the median. The median here would be n plus 1, 13 plus 1, n is 13, divided by 2. So the 7th value is your median. So identify which one is the 7th value. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. This value is your median. Yeah, let's mark this. This is your median. So Q1 is median of the lower half. So how many values you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The middle would be 3.5 because there are 6 values, yeah? Q1 would be 6 plus 1 divided by 2, 3.5th value. So what is 3.5th value? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 3.5th value would be between 38 and 40, yeah? So it's going to be between 38 and 40, which is, we know that it's 39. Then Q3 is going to be the 3.5th value in the upper half over here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 and 3.5th value is going to be over here. So you have 51 and 52. So 51 plus 52 divided by 2, which is 51.5. So your interquartile range or IQR is going to be 51.5 minus 39. 51.5 minus 39, which is 12.5 grams. Now, 2 of these packets are chosen at random. We need to find the probability that one packet has a mass more than 50 grams and the other packet has a mass less than 50 grams. So how many masses are there which have more than 50 grams, a mass of more than 50 grams? How many packets are there? Sorry, more than 50 grams. So I can see over here, I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 packets with mass more than 50 grams. So this is going to be 4 out of 13. When you pick the second packet, obviously it's going to be reduced by 1. We had 13 packets, so 13 minus 4, which is going to be 9 packets will have mass less than 50 grams. So somebody might pick a packet which is more than 50 grams first and then a packet which is less than 50 grams. Or you can first pick a packet which is less than 50 grams and then you pick a packet which is more than 50 grams. Somebody could just write it times 2. This fraction times 2 is also possible, or you may rewrite it again. Yeah. So 9 times 4 is 36 plus 36, and 13 times 12 should be 156. You will have to work it out on the side like that. 3 times 2 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2, put a 0, 3 times 1 is 3, and 1, add them up, that gives you 156. So 36 plus 36 is 72 divided by 156. Of course, I can divide it by 2, but I'm going to try and think if I can divide it by 4. I think so, I can divide it by 4. So that gives me 18, and 156 divided by 4 is 39. I don't think so we can divide it any further, so you leave it here. What happens if I don't simplify? Nothing. You will get full marks. Yeah? Because it doesn't say that you have to simplify. You can leave it as 72 over 156, or somebody can simplify it further, that 18 divided by 39 would be in simplest form 6 over 13, because you can divide it by 3. Yeah, let's write it here. 6 over 13 would be your final answer then. Yeah, if you leave it as 72 over 156, you should get full marks. Question 17. Work out 5 over 9 plus 0.28 and give your answer as a fraction simplest form. I can see a small dot in there. Let's see. What does this mean? It means that it is a recurring decimal. So you need to convert that to fraction first. So you have x equal to 0.28 recurring. Multiply by 10. So 10x is equal to 2.8 recurring. Now, if you try to minus these two, Yeah, you will not get rid of the recurring part because you're having then 2 minus 8. So if somebody does 10x minus x, 2.8 recurring and 0.28 recurring, that gives you 9x equal to 2.6. Yeah, the recurring part gets cancelled. So that gives me x equal to 2.6 divided by 9, which is nothing but 26 divided by 90. It's possible to do that. Or you multiply again by 100, multiply x by 100 and then you subtract. That's possible. Then we have now 5 over 9. We're coming back to this fraction. 5 over 9 plus 26 over 90. Make the denominator same. You will multiply by 10 up and down. So that gives me 50 plus 26 over a 90. So 50 plus 26 is equal to 76 over a 90. Divide by 2, divide by 2. That gives you 38, half of 76, and 45. And I will have to leave it in simplest form. So 38 and 45, I don't think so there is any other simplest form, so leave it here. This is not an improper fraction because it's a proper fraction. Numerator is smaller than denominator, so no further simplification is possible. You cannot write it as mixed number. So you leave it as 38 over 40. Given to you here. AE is 18, this full length is 18, and BD is 6 centimeters. We need to show that CD is 10. CD is 10. This one. All right. So you got to remember that these are right angle triangles. That means for sure you can use, in right angle triangles, you can use SOHCAHTOA. And you can also use Pythagoras. Yeah, so that's what is important for you to identify. If right angle triangles, that means these are the two things you can use. Now we need to work out or show that CD is 10 centimeters. So for that, there is no angle given. So clearly I have to use Pythagoras. To use Pythagoras, I need to know what is this BC. I can know what is BC if I know what is AB. And I can find AB using SOHCAHTOA because I have the angle given to me. So this is going to be the adjacent side because this would be the opposite. So this is the adjacent side and we have the hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse, so you're going to use cos. So cos of 60 is adjacent side, which is AB, divided by hypotenuse, which is 18. Cross multiply to get AB equal to 18 cos 60. You need to memorize what is cos of 60. Yeah, the triangle or the table which your teacher must have given you. Cos of 60 is half. So that's going to be 18 times half, which is 9. So we know that AB is 9. So 17 minus 9, which is 8, is going to be your BC. Now you can use Pythagoras here. I'm just going to draw a line to save space. CD square is going to be then 6 square plus 8 square. 36 plus 64, 100. So CD is square root of 100, that is 10. So you have to show that CD is 10. Find the perimeter of the quadrilateral of the quadrilateral ACDE, and you need to give your answer in the form P plus K square root Q. All right, to find the perimeter of the quadrilateral ACDE, ACDE. This is the shape of the quadrilateral. I have everything I need. 18, I have the 17, I have 10. I don't know what is ED. I need to find what is ED. So again, to find ED, I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA. So if I could find this full length, which is opposite in this triangle, using opposite in this triangle, so sine of 60 would be EB over sine 60 equal to EB over the hypotenuse, which is 18. We can calculate what is EB. EB is going to be, again cross multiply, 18 times sine 60. We know that sine of 60 is root 3 by 2. So 18 times root 3 by 2, that gives me 9 root 3. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Then if EB is 9 root 3, we can calculate what is ED. ED is going to be only this length. So I have calculated the entire length, EB. So I just minus 6 from it to calculate EB. So EB is going to be 9 root 3 minus 6. And then the perimeter is going to be, just add all the sides, which is 18, 17, 10, and what you calculated just now. Yeah, 18, 17, 10. 18, 17, 10, add them, plus 9 root 3 minus 6. Okay, combine the like terms. So 18 plus 17 plus 10 minus 6 gives you 39. That is 39 plus 9 root 3. That cannot be simplified further, so you leave it here as 39 plus 9 root 3 as asked in the question, P plus K root Q. Question 19. In the Venn diagram, shade A union B union C complement, means which is not A union B union C. So obviously you're going to shade everything. A union B union C is everything that's inside. They want you to shade the complement. Pretty easy question. So everything that goes outside. So it has to be properly shaded. Do not just draw some lines, because your papers are scanned and then they are marked. So if the shading is not proper, it will not be scanned properly and you may not get any marks. Yeah, teachers are not marking physical paper, they are marking a scanned version of your paper. So make sure that you shade it properly with your pencil, of course. And that's it, I believe. That should give me full marks over here. Right. So that's the Venn diagram question. Next question is simplify square root 300 plus square root 48. So whenever you have square root, you got to think of writing square root 300 in terms of two numbers which multiply to give you 300, but one of them should be a perfect square. So can I write this as 3 times 100? Yeah. Plus, also you need to think of writing 48 as one of them should be a perfect square. So what is square root of 100? Square root of 100 is 10. So this is 10 root 3. So that gives me an idea. So it should be 3 times something, because I need to have the same surd. Yeah. So you got to think 3 times what gives you 48. Yeah. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So this is 4 root 3. So treat the root 3 as x's. So this is 10 plus 4, which is 14 root 3. Rationalize the denominator and simplify. So 9 divided by 2 plus square root 7. So you will multiply by 2 minus square root 7 up and down. In the denominator and in the numerator, you need to show all the working. So in the numerator, it's just 9 multiplied by 2 square root 7. In the denominator, you will multiply 2 by 2, which is 4, and 2 by minus square root 7. That gives me 4 minus 2 root 7. Then you will multiply square root 7 times 2 is plus square root 2 square root 7 minus plus square root 7 times minus square root 7, 7 root 7 square, that gives you 7 itself. Yeah, that's the rule over here. Square root 7 multiplied by square root 7 is going to be equal to 7. In general, we could say that square root a multiplied by square root a is equal to a. It's a good idea to remember this. So this middle terms have to always cancel, always. Multiply like that. So 18 minus 9 root 7 divided by negative 3. Alright, it would be a good idea not to multiply the numerator because I can see that you can simplify this. So 9 divided by 3 is negative 3, and then you multiply with the brackets. That gives me negative 6 plus 3 root 7. Doesn't matter if you write negative 6 plus 3 root 7 or 3 root 7 minus 6, it's the same. Yeah. Question 31. Write down the coordinates of the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. That means the y-intercept. You can read it from here. The y-intercept is 0 and negative 3. Yeah, this is the y-intercept. And the gradient is 5. Point A is 1, 7. Point B is 5, 15. We need to find the equation of perpendicular bisector. And you need to give it in the form y equal to mx plus c. Perpendicular bisector always passes through midpoint. So remember to calculate the midpoint. Of course, the midpoint formula is not given to you. You need to know the midpoint formula. So the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. I often see students writing x1 minus x2 divided by 2. It's the halfway. It cannot be minus. Common sense. Yeah, it's the middle. So let's calculate the midpoint of AB. So midpoint of AB would be then add the 2x values. So that's going to be 1 plus 5 divided by 2 and 7 plus 15 divided by 2. You can do it mentally. There's no need to show the working. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 15 plus 7 divided by 2 is 11. So that's the midpoint. Now we need to find the gradient of AB. Again, the gradient formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can write y1 minus y2, but then in that case you need to write in the denominator x1 minus x2. So I'm going to use this one. So that is 15 minus 7 divided by 5 minus 1. That is 8 divided by 4. Once you have worked out the gradient of AB, which is 2 in this case, you will have to work out what is the gradient of the perpendicular bisector. Yeah. So gradient of the perpendicular bisector is going to be m for the perpendicular is going to be negative half. So y equal to negative half x plus c. To find c, you're going to then substitute 3 and 1 as your coordinates. So substitute x as 3 and y as 11. So 11 equal to minus half times 3 plus c. So that is 11 equal to minus 3 over 2 plus c. 3 over 2 is 1.5 plus 1.5 is c, which is 12.5. So it's going to be minus half x plus 12 point. So question 22. A curve has equation y equal to x cubed plus x squared minus x and a stationary point at 1/3, minus 5 by 27. We need to find the coordinates of stationary point. So at stationary point, we know that dy by dx is equal to 0. So we need to work out what is the dy by dx and then you equate it to 0. So we're having y equal to x cubed plus x squared minus x. Let's work out what is dy by dx. dy by dx would be then 3x squared minus plus 2x minus 1. Remember the rule, bring the power down and take away 1 from the power. Bring the power down and take away 1 from the power. And differentiation of x is just 1. Now set this equal to 0. Because stationary point, at stationary point this is equal to 0. Now we need to factorize. So you need to think of two numbers that multiply to negative 3 and they add up to positive 2. What are the two numbers that will multiply to negative 3 and add up to positive 2? So this has to be positive because the middle number is positive, and this one has to be negative because only then you will multiply to negative 3. And do they add up to positive 2? Yes, they do. So 3x squared plus 3x minus x minus 1 equal to 0. Take a common factor here, that is 3x, x plus 3. Negative 1 as a common factor, should be x plus 1, not x plus 3. Take negative 1 as a common factor and then you'll have again x plus 1. So you get x plus 1 bracket 3x minus 1. So this gives us x plus 1 is 0 or 3x minus 1 is 0, which means that x would be negative 1 or 3x is 1 and x is 1/3. So these are the x values. Remember, coordinates means you need to find both x and y. So to find y, you will substitute them in the original equation. So you have the x values. Now substitute each of these in the original equation, which is y equal to x cubed. So we're going to work it out. Minus 1 cube, put a bracket, don't forget the bracket because the value is negative. So that gives me negative 1 cube is going to be negative because it has an odd power. If you multiply negative 1 3 times, you're going to get negative 1. That's going to be positive 1 and negative becomes positive. So these cross out, the answer is 1. And we have the other one. Also, it's interesting to see that the curve has a stationary point at 1/3, negative 5 over 27. So clearly, when x is 1/3, this is negative 5 over 27. We know that, yeah. So the first stationary point is negative 1, 1, and the other, which was already told to us, that's why I did not substitute. The question is to find the coordinates of other stationary point. This is already given to you, yeah. So the other stationary point has coordinates negative 1, and about it for this question. Part B, by sketching the graph, determine whether the stationary point 1/3 and negative 5 over 27 is maximum or minimum. All right, we need to sketch this cubic graph. We know that it's going to be uphill because x cube is positive. And we have the two turning points. One of them is negative 1 and 1. So let's mark that. Negative 1 and 1. Positive 1, let's say it's over here. And we have positive 1/3, so let's say positive 1/3 is over here, and negative 5 over something, negative 5 over 27 is over here. So let's say this is negative 5 over 27, right? And that's all we know. Yeah, we can find the y-intercept. The y-intercept would be put x equal to 0. If you put x equal to 0 in this equation, you're going to get y-intercept is equal to 0. That means you know that your graph is going to pass through this point. So I have 3 key points, first, second, third. And I know the shape of the graph is going to be something like this. Yeah, so I will draw the graph now. It will look something like that. Yeah, I know that this point is then minimum because that's the maximum. So is a maximum. This is a completely new type of question. I haven't seen this type question before, but it's nice. The equation x cubed plus x squared minus x equal to k has fewer than 3 solutions. Find the range of possible values for k. So we know that this y value is 1. So we know that this is negative 1 comma 1. And we know that this is positive 1/3 and negative 5 over 27. So if you want to have fewer than 3 solutions, where will you draw the line? So this line is y equal to k. Y equal to k. Where will you? So what should be the value of k? So y is equal to k. Where will you draw y equal to k is a horizontal line. Where will you draw this horizontal line so that you have only 2 solutions? Obviously, if you draw anywhere over here in middle between 1 and negative 5 over 7 y values, yeah, between the y equal to 1 and negative 5 over 7, you're going to have 3 intersections. That means 3 solutions. Yeah, so if you draw a line beyond 1 or beyond, if I just extend this graph a little bit, if I draw a line beyond negative 5 over 7, you're going to have only 1 solution. So the correct answer for k would be greater than, so k should be greater than 1 or k is less than negative 5 over 27. Question you can also have equal to, I forgot that, because it says fewer than 3 solutions, so you can have 2 solutions when it's equal to just touching k. Next, we need to simplify x squared over 4 to the power of 3 over 2. So it means that x squared times 3 over 2, 4 to the power of 3 over 2. So that gives me x cubed divided by 4 could be written as 2 squared times 3 over 2. The 2 gets cancelled. That is x cubed divided by 2 cubed, or that is x cubed divided by 8. Let's move on to the next one. We have to find the value of x in 16 to the power of x, half to the power of x, and 4 to the power of x plus 3. Okay, 16 to the power of x times half to the power of x, 4 to the power of x plus 3. 16, 2 and 4 are the numbers, so each of them can be written as power of 2. So 16 can be written as 2 to the power of 4 and then times x. This can be written as 2 to the power of negative 1 and then times x. This can be written as 4 can be written as 2 square and then times x plus 3. So that gives you 2 to the power of 4x times 2 to the power of x is equal to 2 to the power of, you need to multiply 2 by each of these, 2x plus 6. Now let's use the rules of indices. If it's multiplication, you add the exponents. So 4x minus x is going to be 3x equal to 2 to the power of 2x plus 6. That gives me 3x is equal to 2x plus 6. That gives me 3x minus 2x is equal to 6. 3x minus 2x is x is equal to 6. Yeah. That's about it. So if you have liked the video, make sure that you subscribe and like my channel. And hopefully I will come up with paper 4 video soon. Thank you for watching.